I'm Italian and I travel on the other side of the world to drive what? An Italian car. Makes absolutely sense, right? Ciao everyone, it's Marchettino. So today I am outside LA to pay a visit at Lamborghini Newport Beach. I dropped them an email that said that I would have loved to come and say hello.
They've been so kind and open-minded to say, Marco, feel free to come. And for the occasion, they've arranged me a very special test drive.
In fact, for the next couple of hours, I'll be driving this, the Lamborghini Huracan LP580-2. Having the keys of 580 horsepower Italian supercars all for you, this is absolutely exciting. Let's take you for a quick walk around and then let's start to drive. Am I driving a Lamborghini on the West Coast for real? I still can't believe that Lamborghini Newport Beach simply gave me the key of their Huracan test car. I was thinking that a salesman from the dealership would have come with me to make sure that I haven't done anything stupid, but they simply said, okay Marco, this is the key, when are you planning to return the car? This is so kind from Lamborghini Newport Beach, so thank you very much for this opportunity. It is the first time that I drive the Huracan and I'm very curious to see how it goes. I'm driving the Huracan LP580-2. That means that I'm not driving the all-wheel drive version of the Huracan, but it's the rear-wheel drive. And it's a good thing that I'm starting to drive it in Strada mode, which is the most docile setting, because first I want to start to build up some confidence before to start to push it. After some years, since when the Huracan was released, finally Lamborghini has released also the rear-wheel drive version of the Huracan. They did the same also for the Gallardo, if you remember the special edition Valentino Balboni. But for the Huracan rear-wheel drive, they haven't decided to make it limited edition. So I hope that many Lamborghini enthusiasts that love the rear-wheel drive will go for this one. And having been in some all-wheel drive Lamborghinis, I know at how much grip the all-wheel drive system of the Lambos have, and I want to see how does the rear-wheel drive changes the behavior of such an amazing car like the Huracan. The first impressions in Strada mode is that this car basically feels like a city car. I'm not kidding, it is so smooth and easy to drive. The steering wheel is very light, and not to mention the throttle, which is very delicate. The exhaust is closed. You don't really need to make noise when you're driving the most docile setup, because with this setting the car is meant to be used every day. You don't really need to take out a Lamborghini just when you want to drive it like a maniac. And it's a good thing to see that manufacturers push the developing of supercars like this to make them more usable and practical. Oh my goodness! Look at that! That's the ocean. What a view! I am truly excited to be behind the wheel of a Lamborghini on the American coast. Wow! I've got chills right now, I'm not kidding. This is absolutely amazing. It's like a dream for me. And this is also how you can use a supercar. It's not really necessary to push it. You can also just enjoy the fact that you're driving a high-performance vehicle while enjoying a view like that. So what does changes between the all-wheel drive and the rear-wheel drive version of the the Huracan. The fleshy wrap adds a little bit the lines of the Huracan, and the only thing that you can tell from the outside that this is the rear-wheel drive version is the different look of the front and rear bumper. On first look, maybe you cannot really notice it, but when you have side by side an all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive version, then you can really notice it. And obviously, another important thing that changes compared to the all-wheel drive Huracan is obviously the traction, because this one features a rear-wheel drive system. The power now gets unleashed only through the rear tires, and hopefully this makes the Huracan more engaging and fun to drive. Taking away the all-wheel drive system has helped the Huracan to lose 33 kilos, and Lamborghini, in order to make the power to weight ratio as close as possible to the all-wheel drive, they decided to detune a little bit the big V10 engine behind me by taking away 30 horsepower. This is the first time that I drive a rear-wheel drive Lamborghini, and before switching to sport mode, I reminded to myself that the Huracan that I'm driving costs a whopping $228,000, so I will try not to do stupid things. Okay, let's press the manettino on the steering wheel and switch to sport mode. Do you hear that? This is possibly the first thing that you notice when you change to sport mode. The valves of the exhaust are open, and now we can hear the glorious sound of the V10 engine. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? In a world where all the manufacturers downsize and go for forced induction, it's still amazing to hear a natural spirited V10 in all its glory. The double clutch transmission is absolutely incredible. In sport mode, the gear change, it's quicker than a blink of an eye. That's staggering. Ooh. I just realized there was a cop car right there. I was riding just slightly over the speed limits and realized there was a cop car on the side of the road. And yeah, another thing that I told to myself when I took the keys of the Huracan is that the American cops are not really like the Italian ones. In Italy, if you get pulled over, you can get away by letting the cop take a few pictures inside the car and letting him hear the engine. In the USA, it's not really the same thing, so I really need to be careful. But driving a powerful supercar like this, it's really addicting. You really have to be careful when you push the foot on the throttle, because really in just a few seconds you're driving at a speed where you can really say goodbye driving license. But yeah, even driving in a more reasonable speed, we can enjoy the sport mode of the Huracan. Just listen to that noise. The throttle feels more responsive, and the steering wheel, it's more stiff, more reactive. I quite like the feeling of this steering wheel, and you got these two big pedals behind you where you use them to shift down and upshift. It's a very quick gearbox, but I have to say that when you change gear, you cannot really feel the gear change. It's very quick yet very smooth. And driving a car like this, when I change gear, I want to feel the bang. I want to feel the gear change. I want to feel the kick in the back. You know what I mean? No interruption between gear shift and acceleration, and unbelievably quick, really. And the noise inside the cockpit is just amazing. I see the rev counter on the digital display going up nearly 9,000 RPMs and hear this V10 scream. And let's wait for the green light for doing that again. You really need also good brakes when you see a speed camera or a cop car. And this Huracan has some massive carbon ceramic brakes that as soon as they get heated up properly, the braking power is very strong, really. Let's try to hear the engine with the side window down. I cannot pull down this one because I got the GoPro. Quanto ha detto che costava questa?
$228.500.
Stica. The passenger just reminded me how much this car is for sale in the dealership, and with this price tag in my mind, I'm gonna switch to Corsa mode, which means race. It's the most aggressive setup. In Corsa mode, the steering wheel is even more communicative, but it's also more rigid, and I have to say that this is not really the right setting for driving in the traffic or at low speed. The suspension is even more stiff, but it's still acceptable to me to drive with this setup around these roads, because I have to say the surface of this road is very smooth. I think that on the Italian roads you will feel a much bigger difference. The gear change in Corsa mode, it's just brutal. That's what I'm talking about the Lamborghini. In Sport mode, the gear change is quick but way too smooth, and in this setup you see my head moving whenever I change a gear. Now that's the feeling I like from a supercar. Behind of the wheel of the Huracan, it feels like your bottom is about to scratch the tarmac of the road because you're sitting very low. But this feeling is even more enhanced driving here in the USA, because Americans love to drive big vehicles, and this is a good example. You have to look them right in this way, and it feels like you're very tiny and sitting literally on the ground. I cannot even see the driver. I'm not kidding. I am having a boner right now. That view. Drive Huracan, you can really feel the difference between this and the all-wheel drive. In Corsa mode, the electronics is even less invasive, and you can really feel that only the rear tires are pushing down all the power of the V10 engine. you can definitely feel that just with the rear tires putting down the power, the car feels a little bit more aggressive, but yet there is the electronics that that saves you from spinning. And if you really want to power slide and have really good fun, you can turn off completely the ESC. If I had to buy a Lamborghini, I would definitely buy a rear-wheel drive Huracan like this, because if I want to have fun, proper fun, I can just turn off the electronics and I keep them on. I just realized that this car is very easy to drive. So we're back. Wait, let's raise the front bumper, because it's quite easy to scratch it actually. And I'm not saying that because I did it, maybe once. So I'm back at Lamborghini Newport Beach with the Huracan. I've spent more than 4 hours driving this car on the coast. Time has passed so quickly. I really had a great time with this car. Lamborghini Newport Beach has been so kind to give me this opportunity, and I really cannot thank enough them for this incredible day. After having spent the day with the rear-wheel drive Huracan, I will definitely take this one over the all-wheel drive version. I mean, this is more engaging and fun to drive. It's lighter and it's even cheaper. It has less understeer, and yet it has the same amazing V10 soundtrack of the all-wheel drive version. Why would you get the all-wheel drive now? I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more, and as always, thanks for watching. Ciao!